no discussion of Melania's time as First Lady would be complete.
Right.
Without acknowledging the controversies.
Of course.
The book addresses the plagiarism accusations surrounding her 2016 Republican National Convention speech.
The speech.
Her lawsuit against the Daily Mail.
The Daily Mail.
And even the infamous.
Infamous.
Brilliant character, Jeff.
Welcome to Witter. Who Has Time to Read? The podcast that brings deep dives for busy minds. Listen to AI hosts Jane and Dane and get ready to unpack the world's most captivating books in just a fraction of the time. Whether commuting, working out, or just squeezing in a quick break, we deliver key insights, thought-provoking themes, and takeaways you can carry into your day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. Plus, use our links in the description to purchase this book. Your support helps us bring more engaging book discussions to you. Listen and follow us wherever you get your podcasts. Who has time to read? You do, with Witter.
Welcome back to Witter.
Witter!
Yeah, Witter, where we give you those deep dives for busy mind.
The dives.
You got it.
I like it.
And today, talk about perfect timing, right?
Yeah.
We are cracking open Melania, the autobiography by Melania Trump.
By Melania Trump.
With Donald Trump heading back to the White House on January 20th.
Back to the White House.
I thought it'd be kind of fascinating to revisit Melania's story. See what insights we can glean about the woman who's about to become First Lady.
First Lady.
Again,
exactly.
It's especially intriguing. I mean, she was a little enigmatic during her first stint as First Lady.
Right, and I think that's what makes this book so interesting.
Yeah.
Is that it really gives us a chance to peek behind the curtain a little bit. And starting with her upbringing in Slovenia.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was really struck by how much she emphasizes family.
Family.
In those early chapters.
Yeah.
It's clearly a core value for her. She talks about her close-knit family growing up in a small town, her mother's influence on her fashion sense, her father's love of cars.
Yeah.
Did you know he had a Citroen Maserati SM?
Oh, that's a great detail.
I know, right?
It speaks to a certain appreciation for style and luxury.
Totally.
That clearly stayed with her.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting to think about how those early influences might have shaped her approach to the White House renovations, for instance.
Yeah, for example.
But before we jump ahead to the White House years, let's talk about her journey to becoming a model.
Okay.
She started at just 16.
Wow.
16. A chance encounter with a photographer led to her modeling in Milan.
Paris.
And Paris.
Yeah.
But she mentions facing a lot of rejection early on.
Really?
For not fitting the industry's waif look.
The waif look.
That was so popular at the time.
So pop.
Tough industry.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's where I think we start to see that resilience.
Yeah, her resilience shined through.
Yeah.
Instead of giving up, she pivoted to commercial modeling.
Yeah.
Catalogs, advertisements, things like that.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a testament to her determination and adaptability.
It is.
Which are qualities that would serve her well later in life.
They definitely did.
Uh-huh.
And those qualities were definitely put to the test when she moved to New York City in 1996.
New York.
Think about it. New country, new language.
Yeah.
Competitive industry.
Yeah.
Even the immigration process itself.
The immigration process itself
was a hurdle she had to overcome.
Yeah, and I think that experience likely shaped her views on immigration.
I think so too.
Which became a topic of considerable debate.
Oh, yeah.
During her time as First Lady.
Huge topic.
It's certainly a lens through which I think we can understand her perspective.
Absolutely.
Even if we may not agree with all the policies enacted during that period.
Right.
I think it's definitely a way to kind of see where she's coming from.
See where she's coming from, yeah.
And speaking of pivotal moments.
Yes.
We can't gloss over the Meeting Donald chapter.
Oh, the Donald chapter.
It's almost like a scene from a movie.
It's very cinematic.
Isn't it Fashion Week in 1998?
98.
A party at the Kit Kat Club. And bam.
Paths collide.
Their paths collide.
Yes. The book delves into their courtship a little bit.
It does.
Culminating in a proposal at the Met Gala.
Of course.
Complete with a dazzling diamond ring, naturally.
Naturally.
And then their extravagant Palm Beach wedding.
I mean, come on.
But what I found particularly interesting was Melania's deliberate shift after Barron's birth.
Yeah.
She stepped back from the spotlight to focus on motherhood.
She really did. It was a conscious decision to create a stable and nurturing environment for her son.
Yeah, and I think that commitment to family...
I think so, too.
...likely influenced her Be Best initiative, which championed children's well-being.
During her time as First Lady.
Right.
We'll definitely circle back to that later on.
Absolutely.
But first, let's dive into the heart of the book.
Okay.
Melania's experience as First Lady.
Yeah.
She writes about her desire to make a positive impact and use her platform for good.
Right.
Which manifested in several ways.
Right.
From White House renovations. To her Be Best initiative.
To be best.
I was fascinated by her account of the White House renovations.
Yeah.
She talks about restoring various rooms, meticulously researching historical details, even finding hidden wallpaper from the 1800s.
Oh.
It reveals a deep appreciation for history and a desire to preserve it.
Yeah, and it also speaks to her, I think, aesthetic sensibilities and attention to detail.
Totally.
She clearly wanted to make the White House a reflection of both its historical legacy and her personal style.
And she wasn't afraid to put her own stamp on things.
No, she was not.
And that same boldness is evident in how she tackled her Be Best initiative.
It is.
She outlines its 3 pillars.
Okay.
Well-being, online safety.
Online safety.
And opioid abuse.
Opioid abuse.
The book goes into detail about specific actions taken, including her international outreach, like her solo trip to Africa to promote the program.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah.
No discussion of Melania's time as First Lady would be complete.
Right.
Without acknowledging the controversies.
Of course.
The book addresses the plagiarism accusations surrounding her 2016 Republican National Convention speech.
The speech.
Her lawsuit against the Daily Mail.
The Daily Mail.
And even the infamous.
I
really didn't care. Do you jacket?
The jacket.
It's important to remember that this is her account of those events.
Yeah, it's her perspective.
She defends her actions and provides her perspective on how those controversies unfolded.
Right.
Whether or not you agree with her stance, it offers a valuable glimpse into her mindset.
I agree.
During a tumultuous period.
Tumultuous.
It's her truth.
Her truth.
And it helps us understand how she navigated the relentless scrutiny that comes with being in the public eye. Particularly as First Lady.
Which begs the question.
It does.
How will those experiences and the lessons learned shape her approach to the role in this second term?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
It is.
The book provides some clues.
Some clues.
But we'll have to wait and see how things unfold in the coming months.
Right.
What we can say for sure is that Melania offers a fascinating window into the life of a woman who's about to step back into one of the most prominent roles on the world stage.
Absolutely.
It gives us a glimpse into her values. Her motivations. And her aspirations.
Aspirations, but beyond the political implications.
Yes.
It's a human story.
It is.
So a story of resilience, ambition, and navigating the complexities of fame and power.
Those themes resonate regardless of your political leanings.
They do.
It's a story that speaks to the challenges and triumphs of being a woman in the public eye, of balancing personal aspirations with public expectations.
But before we delve deeper into those themes, let's take a closer look at some of the more personal anecdotes and stories that Melania shares in the book.
Yes.
These are the moments that I think really bring her to life.
Okay.
Showcasing her personality.
Okay.
And offering a more nuanced perspective.
I loved the story about her first visit to the White House.
Oh, yeah.
Long before she ever imagined living there.
Right.
She describes the formality of the occasion, the sense of history, and then humorously recounts kicking off her stilettos at the end of a long day.
At the end of a long day, yeah.
It's a relatable moment that reminds us that even First Ladies are human.
Right.
There's also a charming anecdote about her encounter with Pope Francis.
Oh, the Pope.
She was surprised that he knew about potatica.
Potatica.
A traditional Slovenian pastry.
Oh, wow.
And even shared a lighthearted joke with her about it.
Really?
It reveals a warmth and humor that we don't often see in her public persona.
Uh-huh.
Right. And then there are the stories about her travels.
Which
highlight her engagement with global issues.
Right.
And her commitment to using her platform to make a difference. She talks about visiting an all-women business center in Saudi Arabia. Witnessing the potential of female empowerment, even within a restrictive cultural context.
Right.
And then there's her trip to visit troops in Iraq over Christmas.
Oh, wow.
Showcasing her dedication to supporting the military.
Yeah.
These anecdotes provide glimpses into Melania's worldview. And her approach to international relations.
And
let's not forget her firsthand account of the January 6th Capitol riot.
Oh, yeah.
She describes the experience of being rushed to the White House bunker. The fear and uncertainty of that day.
Yeah.
It's a powerful reminder of the fragility of democracy. And the weight of history that she carried on her shoulders.
Those experiences undoubtedly left an indelible mark on her.
Oh, absolutely.
And as she prepares to return to the White House, it's worth considering how those experiences, both personal and political, will inform her actions.
And her legacy as First Lady.
It's a fascinating question and one that we'll continue to explore.
We will.
As we delve deeper into Melania in this deep dive.
Absolutely.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. You know, it's interesting you bring up the January 6th account.
Yeah.
Because it really highlights, I think, another key theme that runs through this book. Melania's fierce independence.
You're right. Even in the midst of that chaotic day, she maintained a sense of composure and focus on her own priorities.
Yeah.
She mentions continuing with a photo shoot of a White House rug even as the riot was unfolding.
That's a wild detail.
It is.
I mean, that really struck me.
Yeah.
I think it speaks to her ability to compartmentalize.
Yes.
And focus on the task at hand. Even in the face of extreme stress.
Yeah.
Some might interpret it as detachment.
Yeah.
But I see it as a testament to her strength and her commitment to her own goals.
It definitely reinforces that image of her as a woman who's very much in control.
Even in situations where others might crumble.
Absolutely. And that sense of control extends to how she presents herself to the world.
Right.
Remember, this is a woman who built a career on image, on carefully crafting her persona.
It makes you wonder how much of what we see is the real Melania.
Right.
And how much is a carefully constructed facade.
That's the mystery, isn't it?
It is.
And it's something that the book only partially reveals.
Right.
She gives us glimpses into her inner thoughts and feelings. But there's always a sense that she's holding something back.
Yes.
That she's carefully curating what she wants the world to see.
Which makes her all the more intriguing, right?
Right, exactly. It's like
we're trying to solve a puzzle, but some of the pieces are still missing.
We are trying to solve a puzzle.
I know.
And those missing pieces are what make her so fascinating.
And it really does.
She's not an open book.
No.
She's a woman of contradictions.
Yes.
Someone who defies easy categorization.
Totally agree.
She can be glamorous and reserved, but also fiercely protective of her family.
Yeah.
And surprisingly down to earth at times.
Yes, and that complexity is what makes her such a compelling subject.
I agree.
For admirers and critics alike.
Absolutely.
It's going to be fascinating to see how that complexity plays out in her second term as First Lady.
Yeah. Will she embrace a more traditional role?
Right.
Or will she use her platform to push boundaries and challenge expectations?
That's the question on everyone's mind, isn't it?
It is.
But the book gives us some clues.
Some clues.
But ultimately, only time will tell.
Only time will tell. But before we get too caught up in speculation, let's circle back to a topic we touched on earlier.
Yes.
Melania's passion for history and her approach to the White House renovations.
It's an aspect of her personality that really shines through in the book.
It does. She goes into great detail about the meticulous research, the restoration efforts, her desire to preserve the historical integrity of the White House.
Yes.
While also modernizing it for a new era.
She talks about poring over old photographs.
Whoa.
Tracking down original fabrics and furnishings, even consulting with historians to ensure that every detail was accurate.
That's commitment.
I know.
It wasn't just about aesthetics for her. It was about understanding the stories behind those objects.
Yeah.
The people who lived and worked in those spaces.
She wanted to honor that legacy.
Yeah.
While also making the White House a welcoming and functional home for her family.
It's a delicate balance.
It is.
And one that she seemed to navigate.
Yeah.
With a blend of respect for the past and a vision for the future.
It really is. And it's not just about the interiors.
No.
She also played a key role in revitalizing the Rose Garden.
The Rose Garden.
Overseeing a major renovation that restored its original design while also incorporating modern elements.
It's interesting because she clearly saw the White House as a canvas for expressing both her personal aesthetic and her appreciation for American history.
And it's worth noting that she faced some criticism for her choices.
Oh, of course.
Particularly from those who felt she was erasing important aspects of the White House's history.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to...
I would think so, too.
...the challenges inherent in any restoration effort.
Absolutely.
Particularly when dealing with a place as iconic and symbolically charged as the White House.
You can't please everyone.
You can't.
Right.
It's a reminder that history is often subjective.
It is.
And that any attempt to preserve or reinterpret the past is bound to be met with a range of perspectives.
It's true. And in that sense, Melania's approach to the White House renovations provides a fascinating lens through which to view her personality and her approach to her role as First Lady.
I agree.
She's not afraid to make bold choices,
no,
even if they spark controversy. She's driven by a deep appreciation for history and tradition, but also a desire to leave her own mark.
And that combination of respect to the past and a willingness to embrace the future is likely to shape her approach to her second term as First Lady.
But speaking of the future,
yes,
we can't ignore the elephant in the room.
The elephant?
The fact that Donald Trump will be back in the Oval Office come January 20th.
Right. How will his return impact Melania's role?
Right.
Will she be content to take a back seat and focus on more traditional First Lady duties? Or will she use her platform to advance her own agenda?
Yeah.
Potentially even challenging her husband on certain issues.
It's going to be fascinating to watch how their dynamic plays out.
It is.
We've seen glimpses of her independence and her willingness to speak her mind.
Yeah.
But will that translate into concrete action on the political stage?
Right. And what about the public's perception of her?
Yeah.
Will those past controversies resurface and overshadow her efforts? Or will she be able to reframe her narrative and connect with a wider audience?
So many questions, and honestly, I don't have any easy answers.
I don't either.
But that's what makes this whole discussion so intriguing.
It is like...
It's like we've been given a sneak peek into Melania's world through her book.
Right.
But the real story is just beginning to unfold.
Yeah.
And we have a front row seat to witness it all.
We do.
What an exciting time to be a political observer, wouldn't you say?
I completely agree. But before we get too carried away with predictions, let's ground ourselves in some facts.
Yeah.
Remember those recent news articles we mentioned earlier?
I do.
They offer some hints about Melania's plans for her second term. And the challenges she might face.
Right. Let's delve into those articles and see what insights we can glean. About the future of Melania Trump. First Lady 2.0.
First Lady 2.0.
Okay, so we've got these recent news articles that might give us some clues about Melania 2.0.
Yeah, let's see what we got.
All right.
Okay.
Let's start with this headline from December 29th.
Okay.
Melania Trump, enigmatic and fiercely independent First Lady, is back.
Catchy.
The article talks about how she's been spending a lot of time with family in Florida, which isn't surprising.
Not at all, given how much she prioritizes family.
Right.
Yeah.
But it also mentions that she's been meeting with advisors.
Interesting.
And strategizing her second-term agenda.
So she's not just going to be redecorating.
Sounds like she's not just planning to redecorate the White House this time around.
Maybe not.
The article even suggests she might launch a major initiative focused on online safety for children.
Okay, so building on her Be Best platform.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And her interest in children's well-being.
Yeah. But here's where it gets interesting.
Okay, I'm listening.
The article claims that Melania is considering taking a more active role in shaping policy.
Wow.
Potentially even pushing back against some of Donald's more controversial stances.
Now, that would be a game changer.
Right.
Imagine Melania as a moderating force amid the administration.
It would definitely ruffle some feathers.
Oh, it would. But remember, this is the woman who sued the Daily Mail and wore that jacket.
That's true.
She's not afraid to make waves.
Okay, next article. Trump sides with tech bosses in MAGA fight over immigrant visas from just 2 days ago.
Oh, very recent.
Very recent.
Yeah, okay.
This one highlights some tension within the Trump camp. Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy.
Okay.
Both prominent Trump supporters have been criticizing the administration's stance on immigrant visas.
Interesting.
Arguing for a more open approach.
Okay.
And who agrees with them? Melania.
Really?
She's reportedly been advocating for a more compassionate immigration policy.
Wow.
Drawing on her own experiences.
This suggests that she's really willing to publicly disagree with Donald on a key issue.
It could signal a real shift in how she approaches the role.
Absolutely.
No longer just the silent partner,
right,
but an active participant in shaping the conversation.
Interesting.
Our last article is from mid-December.
Okay.
Trump sues Iowa newspaper over shock election poll.
Oh, boy.
This one shows Donald's tendency to be litigious. Yeah, not a surprise.
He's suing because they published a poll showing him losing Iowa.
Oh.
And guess who's reportedly encouraging this legal battle?
Don't tell me.
Melania.
Melania.
Apparently, she's become quite the fan of using lawsuits to silence critics.
That's a little concerning.
It is a little concerning.
Yeah.
It suggests that she might be more focused on retribution than reconciliation.
Right. It's a reminder, I think, that beneath that glamorous exterior, there's a steeliness, a willingness to fight back.
So we've got Melania, the family woman, the advocate, the potential policy influencer.
Right.
And the legal hawk.
It's a complex picture.
It is a complex picture.
Yeah.
And it's going to get more complicated as the second term unfolds.
No doubt.
But I think we're just scratching the surface.
I think so, too.
Remember, Melania is a master of control, of carefully crafting her image.
She is. She's always one step ahead.
Always one step ahead.
Playing the long game.
These news articles give us clues.
But I have a feeling Melania 2.0 will be full of surprises.
Oh, I have no doubt.
And that's what makes this deep dive so fascinating.
It is.
We're not just unpacking a book.
No.
We're trying to decode a mystery that's going to play out on the world stage.
We are. It's like we've finished the book, but the story's just getting started.
It really is.
Exactly. And as we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with this thought.
Okay.
What does Melania's story tell us about the role of the First Lady today?
Especially in this hyper-partisan world.
Right.
With social media amplifying everything.
The First Lady is under a microscope 24/7.
Oh, yeah.
Every move, every word is analyzed.
It's not just about fashion or hosting parties anymore.
No, not at all.
It's about using that platform to make a difference.
Yes.
To champion causes.
Right.
Even to challenge the status quo.
And that's what makes Melania, I think, so interesting.
It does.
She has the potential to be a really unconventional First Lady.
She's not afraid to speak her mind.
No.
Even if it means disagreeing with her husband.
She's got legal savvy and a global perspective.
And don't forget master of image control.
Oh, that's right.
So my prediction.
Okay.
Melania 2.0 will be bolder. More strategic. And maybe even a little unpredictable.
Will she focus on bipartisan issues like children's well-being?
Right. Or wade into more divisive territory like immigration reform.
And how will she handle the inevitable criticism?
Right. Will we see that I don't care attitude?
Right.
Or a softer side?
So many questions, and I have no idea what the answers will be.
Me neither.
But that's the beauty of it.
That is the beauty of it.
We've done our deep dive into Melania by Melania Trump.
We have.
But now it's your turn, listeners.
Your turn.
What stood out to you about her story?
Yeah.
What do you think her biggest challenges will be? And most importantly, what impact do you think she'll have?
Big questions.
Head over to our website or social media and join the conversation.
Join the conversation, because in the end, this isn't just about Melania Trump.
It's about understanding the power of the First Lady.
Yes.
To shape our world.
And that's something worth thinking about.
It is.
Until next time, stay curious.
And keep reading, even if it's just the spark notes.
We've got you covered.
We got you.
Thanks for listening to Witter, Who Has Time to Read, produced by One Media. Please support the author by purchasing the book or audiobook using the link in the description. It's a great way to help keep the art of writing alive. And stay in the loop. Subscribe to our newsletter for updates on weekly deep dives. And don't forget to share your thoughts or suggest our next deep dive at witterpodcast@gmail.com.